Often data that is imported into Power Query is broken into very distinct columns, and we need to merge those columns together to provide us with useful information. So for example, to demonstrate this, I'm going to go to the employees query, and I'd like to duplicate this query. So I'm just going to right click and say duplicate. And at the bottom of my query list, I now have employees 2, which if I press F2, I can rename this employees data. So I've created a duplicate of a query, and in this employees data query, I want to move the title of courtesy column before full name. So I find the title of courtesy column, which is over here, and I drag it to the left and put it before full name. Here we are here. Now what I'd like to do is merge these two columns. So I select both of these columns using either the Control or the Shift key. And if I then go to the Add Column tab in the ribbon, I can choose to merge columns using this button. This window appears and asks me what separator I'd like between the title of courtesy and the full name. So I might ask for just a space. And it also gives me the opportunity to give the new column a name. So I might call it contact name. And when I click OK, those two columns are now merged together in a new column at the end of my query called contact name. Now what I'd like to do is actually move the last column, contact name, after employee ID. So I'll choose this column and I'll go to transform and I'll choose the move button and I'll tell it to put it at the beginning of this query. And so now I have this sitting at the beginning. And I then just drag it to the right of employee ID. I'd like to remove the title of courtesy column. So I click on title courtesy, and if I choose the home tab, I have the remove columns button that I can click and get rid of title of courtesy. I'd also like to get rid of full name, so I remove that column as well. Now we have a column called phone, and here it is here, followed by a column called extension. And I would like to select both of these columns using either Control or Shift. And if I go to transform, I'll end up replacing these two columns with a merged substitute, as opposed to add column and merge columns created a new column. So there's the slight difference. So I'm going to go transform and I want to merge these columns together. And in this little window here, I want to create a separator that's a custom separator. And the custom separator is a space and the text EXT for extension and another space. And this new column, I'd like to call it the phone, including extension. And when I click OK, I will lose both of these columns because I went for transform merge columns, and I will gain instead a new column called phone including extension. There's the phone number, space, extend, space, and then the extension itself. So the merge columns is a very handy button on the transform or the add column tab in the ribbon.